Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host, Ray Flowers. Now, as we get ready for this edition of Around the Horn, we're going to go through a bunch of injured players. Some of them injured, some of them returning from injury, but as the second half of the 2010 season starts, there's a lot of players in and around doctors' offices. First off, Justin Morneau, maybe the American League MVP in the first half in some circles. He had a concussion. He had to pull out of the All-Star game because of that. He tried to work out, had a bit of lightheadedness, wasn't quite able to get to the point where he felt comfortable. The Twins said, hey, we're going to back you off here. We're going to put you on the disabled list and hope we can, hold the fort down for a couple of weeks until you're back. They hope that'll be the case. They don't look at this as an issue that's going to keep him out long term. It seems like the symptoms are improving, but we'll have to hope that he'll be able to get out on the field and move things around and have that head stay clear in the very near future for the Twins. Brewers have got Doug Davis. Now, Doug Davis had an issue with his heart. He overcame that. Now he's got an issue with his arm. He's going to have to overcome that too. He's now been placed on the disabled list again. If you have Doug Davis on your fantasy squad anyway, you're probably in a little bit of trouble, so maybe this saves you the problem of having to worry about whether or not to start him. He's out for at least 2 weeks. On the plus side for the Brewers, you have Yovani Gallardo, who's out with a side issue, basically an oblique issue. Threw on Thursday, felt very strong, had a very productive outing. He's going to make 2 or 3 more appearances on the side, and then it looks like he'll be activated from the disabled list next Tuesday for the Brewers. Now, we're not quite certain when he's going to go back into that starting rotation. He may not be out on the hill for the Brewers until next weekend, but he's only missed a couple of weeks. The Brewers feel very good about where he is. They're not going to send him on a minor league rehab assignment, so he should be back in hurling very, very soon for the Milwaukee Brewers. Edison Volquez, he'll return to the hill on this Saturday, making a triumphant return less than a year removed from Tommy John surgery. And the reports are very positive. Volquez hasn't shown a lot of wildness. He's been very dominant at the minor league level, and his fastball's been 97 to 98 miles an hour. Now, is this actually a result of his arm being bionic because of the surgery? No. The belief being that he actually strengthened his shoulder and his core for the first time, lifted weights, really tried to do things to help his body get in shape to help out his arm, and in so doing, he's flat out in better shape than he's ever been in, which is the reason his fastball is about 2 miles an hour faster than it was prior to the surgery. We have no idea how effective he'll be at this point. Facing major league batters is extremely different than facing guys in the minor leagues. Remember, Volquez wasn't very effective last year, even when healthy for the Reds, and again, he hasn't pitched in a big league game in over a year. We'll have to wait and see how he does, but it's all positive right now, and if you're a Reds fan, you got to keep your fingers crossed that the dreadlocked one will come through for the club. Jordan Zimmerman also out with Tommy John surgery. He too is doing very, very well in his recovery. So well, in fact, that the Nationals hope they might actually have him back at some point in August. Don't know if that's going to happen. There's always a chance that a roadblock could come up when someone's coming back from surgery, but Zimmerman's made a couple appearances in the minors, look very good. His fastball's been in the 93 to 95 mile an hour range, right where it should have been. Zimmerman might have a shot either to help the team out of the bullpen or possibly out of the starting rotation at the end of the year. Look for him in 2011 to be underrated and a player you want to target, especially in NL-only leagues. Chase Utley, he's on the disabled list with a thumb issue. He had a cast. That cast was removed today. He's going to wear a splint for about 3 weeks. Though, even in the best case scenario, we're probably talking the end of August, first week of September before we see him back on the field. Utley has said he's going to beat the timetable to return. That still might occur, but most doctors say that 5 to 6 week time period is what it takes to heal the injury that he has. Then you got to have some time playing a little bit of baseball to get back in shape. So again, last week of August, first week September is when we're likely to see the Phillies selecting second baseman. Shin-Soo Choo also has an issue with his thumb, and there was the specter of possibly having to go under the knife to fix that issue. Good news being now, doesn't look like that's going to occur. Choo has been able to hit off a tee. He's taken some soft toss as well, and he's going to hopefully progress to taking batting practice this weekend. We're still not clear if the knife will be needed to fix his issue, and we're still not clear when he could be back, even if the batting practice session goes well this weekend. But everyone's keeping their fingers crossed that there won't be surgery needed, because Choo, a potential 25-25 guy this year before injured, has been a dynamite option for the Indians, and really their only legitimate power source for the majority of the season. Josh Beckett, he's got a back issue. He's been on the disabled list for a while now because of it. He's doing well in his recovery from that issue and hopes to return to the Red Sox soon. He'll make a start this weekend at AAA Pawtucket. Now, the Red Sox had hoped that would be the last time he had to work in the minors and be back at the big league club. However, Beckett himself came out and said he's not quite sure. He's not trying to set things up back. He's not trying to slow down his recovery process, but he just didn't know if he'd feel comfortable being activated right now, meaning he might have to have a second appearance in the minors before activated. Whether it's this weekend, next weekend, looks like Beckett will be back soon. You have to think 10 days or so from now he'll be back trolling for the Red Sox. Very good news for the club as they try to compete with the likes of the Yankees in the American League East. And then finally, Matt Latos. I don't know if you heard this or not. Latos, there's always been concerns this year because of his age, because of the fact that he hasn't thrown many innings the past couple of seasons. Padres have said all along they're looking to limit him to 170, 180 innings on the course of the season. They made the decision to kind of, hold him back a little bit as we hit the All-Star break. Thought about placing him on the disabled list basically just to give him a breather. Well, they have placed him on the disabled list. The story, though, now is, quote-unquote, that he injured himself while sneezing. That's right. They say he hurt his side while trying to stop a sneeze. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. Everyone's poo-pooing the situation, saying it's not a major issue. Sounds an awful lot like they're inventing an injury to allow him to be placed on the disabled list and skip a couple starts to get him that time off. Look for Latos to return healthy, to be productive in the second half of the season. But again, keep a close eye on those inning pitch totals, because there were some estimates that had him pitching possibly as low as 150 to 160 innings this year. You may not want to be counting on him in your fantasy league come the final weeks of September. He may not be pitching at that point. Again, it's Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to y'all again soon.